What is good people? You are now listening to another episode of Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. I am your humble narrator, Danny Foxworth, and this is officially the last episode of 2023 for the Since We Last Spoke podcast. And for this one, we're doing a year in review episode for the year 2023. And of course, it's something this grandiose of an occasion. I'll be damned if I'm going to do this by myself, because that's no fun. So, you know these two people from the Real World Cast Members Tournament Challenge a few months back. And I mean, I figure who better to have on this journey with me for this episode than these two guests. So we have Bridgette, who is 1/12 of the All In With Ace podcast, and NicJu, who is one half of the What's the Tea podcast. Ladies, how y'all doing this evening?
Hello.
Hi. Not 1/12.
I feel like I might be a little played out with your guests because people come on and mention my name. I'm sorry, I know cool people. It's my bad.
Right?
Amen.
Pop your shit. So for this episode, we're going to be covering basically current events and notable things that happened over the course of this year, like both pop culture, sports, and personal experiences. So y'all just get you something to drink and just pull up a chair. So we're going to start. Let's see, where do we start here? We'll start with we'll go with one of the biggest hot button topics of this year that took place in Montgomery, Alabama a few months ago. The folding chair situation. Man.
Bruh.
Yeah,
Let's
that was
say
a moment. Black Twitter had their way with that one. They had a field day for quite a long time, and I was just kicking back, enjoying what I was seeing on the timeline. And
I love it when Twitter comes together like that.
Yes.
Like people were in rare form. It was one of those magic moments where we all kind of just agreed, and the jokes flew.
Jokes everywhere. What was everybody at when they first saw like the video?
I was just at home on the couch scrolling through Twitter, and I was like, hold on, what is this?
What is this? And there's several different angles of the video.
Right.
Because
the first one I saw was the young dude swimming across to jump in. That was the first video I saw. What they start calling him? Aquaman?
Yeah. Aquaman. Michael B. Phelps or some shit.
Michael B. Phelps. That's funny.
It was a plethora of names, but when was this? Like in the summertime? I think I first saw the video on YouTube, and one of my favorite people that I follow on YouTube, she covered it first because she's from Montgomery. Jamie, that's me. But I didn't watch the video yet, and it just kept popping up, and I was like, okay, let me just sit and just watch the video. And boy, did I have a good cackle. Like every angle of the video is just so good. Every angle is just a movie. Like Aquaman jumping out of the damn boat to swim. And then you got somebody coming out with a folding chair later on, just bopping everybody over the head. It should not be as funny as it is.
Because my first reaction, I was upset. I was like, what is this? What the hell going on? And then as I saw more versions of it, I'm like, look at our community coming together to protect our elders or whatever. And then the joke started. And I think one of the first jokes that I saw after the Aquaman thing, where they were talking about when you see a bunch of Black men and they start running, but they like holding the crotch of their pants up. And they first started, they started with like walking kind of fast. Like, it's about
to be some shit. It's about to be a damn problem.
And
they
then the
came
fun
up.
police started to come in like, oh, he hit
Oh,
a lady. But I'm like, oh, but you didn't see the Zapruder film, because there's another angle that shows when this lady jumped into it. And she wasn't an innocent bystander, because somebody broke
right.
it down. Somebody on TikTok or something had like every angle and was doing screenshots and frozen.
Right.
I was just like, no, you didn't see the Zapruder film now. I see the whole thing. You gotta see it from
You
the
didn't
other
see the
side of grassy
breakdown.
knoll. Right.
Cause my mom, she saw it, but it had made it to like national news.
Oh
And
Mhm.
God.
but I think she didn't see. I'm like, hold up. Like she was like, why don't she was ready to like why don't black people attack them white people
Right.
like that? And blah. I'm like, no, ma'am. Let me
No,
tell you
ma'am.
what
No,
really happened.
ma'am. Yeah.
Let me tell you what really
Weird.
happened. They was messing up, keeping that big boat from docking at the where they needed to dock. The white people started talking crazy to the man. I was breaking it down, and she was like, "No, I ain't see y'all." I said, "Hold on, let me send you these videos real
Yeah,
quick."
I got that context real quick. Like, no, he was on his job. The
Right.
people, they started that. And then, like as the weeks progressed, they started getting names and whatever. And I'm like, I hope these people don't get in trouble behind this. And I think that everybody who eventually got called in, no one had charges pressed against them, and nobody did any jail time except for the white people.
Mm. And yeah, because and really they incited a fucking riot. Like if
Right.
you would have moved your fucking boat, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? Then all of
Yeah.
this wouldn't have happened. So,
And
but
then it
yeah,
was the like, when somebody throw up their hat like that, now that's the international symbol for I need backup.
Yep.
People made shirts, sweatshirts, flags. People was talking about this should be the new Juneteenth. Like we should celebrate this every
right.
year as our new Juneteenth.
Like, exactly.
You
Yeah.
know
It
you
was
know it was that big. You know it was a big deal when that pushed the taser out of the way as the unofficial weapon of the black guy who
Of the
tipped.
right.
TBGWT.
And I
Yes.
love the fact that it's so ingrained in them that Karen still has trouble with that. She has
Yeah.
like the unofficial
Think
weapon
about it.
is, and it's like a 7-second delay. She's like the folding chair.
I feel Karen because I'm instinctually saying it. You know what I'm
The
saying? I'm like,
taser.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it is the folding chair now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And it was like it definitely a cultural moment, but it was definitely one of them two America's moments, because the only white people that I
Mm.
saw talking about it were like the heavily online white people who were just happened to be online that day. But black people would be like wearing little folding chair earrings at work, or they just like had a little folding chair on their desk. I'm like, this is amazing. This is like
Yes,
a
I forgot
very
about the
cultural significance right here.
right
yeah,
the merch
yeah.
that dropped, like
Yeah.
shirts, sweatshirts, like the folding chair on it. Like yeah, people were insane.
Yeah.
So the next story I want to cover, we're going to keep it in Alabama. So there was a nurse who found a baby, allegedly found a child on the highway,
My
and
God.
ended up being kidnapped, and then
Mhm.
shows up at her mom's house out of nowhere.
So
Like
when it like how
yeah,
many
like the
days
next
was
day.
yeah.
And then she admits that she made the kidnapping up. And I remember that making national headlines. That was such a
Wild.
that was wild.
Wild.
What did she get sentenced to? Like she's going to jail, right? Like jail.
I
Yeah.
don't
I
know
don't
if
I don't
it
know if
was
she's had
jail.
I don't know if she's had a court hearing yet or not,
Okay.
or like had trial
Oh,
yet.
you're right. Yeah. What
What was
And
what I
her name?
remember.
oh gosh,
Do you remember her
it's
name? Carly something.
Carly something.
Carly Russell.
That
Yeah.
sound because I was like either Russell or Robinson.
Yeah. Carly with two E's, Russell, was found guilty in the hoax and sentenced to a year in jail. This is in
Oh,
October.
so it already happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
A
I
year
remember
in jail and pay $18,000 in restitution.
Wow.
Damn.
And it ended up being a thing behind her boyfriend, right? Like they was going through it and she was trying to get his attention or something, her ex-boyfriend. Something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
wild.
And I remember not like having much to say about the story, and like it all happened so fast
It
that
did.
but then the way that Twitter works is there's a topic and people start projecting around the topic, and it turned into a gender war. Somehow a gender war came out of this.
Per usual.
Yeah.
Right.
But one good takeaway out of this is not even 2 months later, there's a movie out about it on Amazon Prime.
You are lying to me.
What
And
you say?
Listen, and the best thing is the title of the movie. It gets right to the point. The name of the movie is The Nurse That Saw the Baby on the Highway.
Please.
Shut
It is
up.
no.
Straight to the point.
No.
Haven't seen it yet, but it's definitely on my list of films to watch.
Oh my God.
We going to my mom's house
Yeah, you gotta
tomorrow.
put
I'm
that
gonna
on.
suggest it.
Cut that right on.
Let's
Oh
see
my
what else happened. Oh, Juvenile had a tiny
the
desk
tiny
report
disc.
Bruh.
and had the internet up in flames.
I think it was it a
100 degrees,
Friday?
so to speak.
Yes. Was it a Friday? I don't know what
It
day
was.
It was
I
a
was
Friday.
It was a
working from
Friday at
home that
noon.
day. Yes, and I
Mhm.
watched it live. And when he did back that ass up, I had to get up, obviously. And then he ran it back, and I was like, "Yes, run it back," because he was like,
Yeah.
"Y'all not hype enough for me for the
Mm.
greatest rap song of all time. I need y'all to
Okay.
work it out."
That
It
was
was
awesome.
great. It was so good.
Do you
Yeah, I
know the
was.
story of how it came to be?
Yeah, because somebody on Twitter was like, "Juvenile need a tiny desk," and he was like, "What that is?"
He
Yeah.
said, "What the fuck is a tiny disc? The fuck is that?" And they told him about it. Was like, "Yeah, you should really do it. It's cool." And he was like, "All right, bet." And
Right.
then when he went on there, it was a good time.
It
Yeah.
was a
But-
great time.
But overall, just Tiny Disc has been like, I don't know, like really good this year. I don't know, because at one point I was like really paying attention to Tiny Disc, and then I think COVID happened, and it was just weird for me to see them doing Tiny Disc at home. So
Yeah.
I stopped paying attention.
That did happen.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
But like this year, like they've had recently the Scarface one.
Oh my God.
Is
That was
really
so
good.
good. So,
Fantastic.
and I am like I'm not like a hardcore rap fan. There's some rap things that are very much in my wheelhouse, but for the most part, I'm like, oh, I don't know a ton of this or that. Like I just went through Jay-Z's discog for the first time in 2016. So I was not expecting to know every song that Scarface did, but I knew every song.
Yeah,
Every song.
he did some joints, like he did Smile. He did, of
Mhm.
course, his verse on My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me were both
Mhm.
verses.
Did Mary
Damn.
Jane
and
My
the one
Block.
My Block, and he did Fuck Faces.
He sure did.
Yep. So that's a really good Tiny Disc. Dwayne, not Dwayne Bernard. Girl, what is that man? Duran Bernard has a great one. Who else? Babyface did one. Of course, Juvenile. I'm forgetting, like Charlie Wilson did a great one. Like whoever's doing like the booking at Tiny Disc,
They doing it.
like it's been very good and very black, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Usher's Tiny Desk.
Usher.
That was this year?
I think it was. Let's see.
God
Let's
damn,
go to
Usher.
let's go to the
How did I
internet.
forget that? How on earth did I forget about Usher's Tiny
And we
Desk
just
performance?
need to just go right on into his whole little residency.
Listen.
Right. Damn, Usher.
Oh no, June 2022. Okay. That was not this
Okay.
year, y'all.
Okay.
That was not this year.
Oh,
My
I was gonna
bad.
say.
Regardless, it's still a masterful performance.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Because that was what's up. So yes, Tiny Disc has been phenomenal this year. Been great.
And keeping it on music, and shaking up the timeline. There was a word got out that Smokey Robinson was dropping a new album, and the name of the album kind of threw people off, myself included, being that he's like 82 years old and dropping an album called Gasms. And
He's trying to tell you.
yeah, I sat at work that Friday that it came out, and I listened to it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And yeah, he was it was super, he was in Supermanish mode.
Oh.
And I mean, just the name of the songs. Like, he had a song called I Fit in There. I'm like, bro.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, you know what, the older people, they be getting it in.
I mean, I get,
And
age.
that's like exposed too much of my business. But like, I've been kind of talking to some older men. They trying to be active out here. I'm like, okay, I was not aware.
Yeah.
The Viagra changed the game, I guess.
Yeah. Not the Niagara.
The Niagara done changed.
That blue tab soul. I'm not mad at you, Smokey. Play on.
And he looked good too. He looked like he done
Yeah,
got
he does.
hip or something. Like, hey.
He got something going on if he talking about gasms. So hey.
Listen.
Did I holler at Smokey? Okay, let's keep going.
And we're gonna keep it in the music wheelhouse. Andre 3000 dropped a flute album, and people lost their shit.
Lost their minds. Lost their mind. This is the thing that bothered me the
what's
most.
happening?
I had to hit Charmaine up to complain because I'm like, for the last like 5 years, y'all have been seeing Andre doing side quests, playing the flute in the wild. Every time he's spotted, everybody would be like, oh, look, this is so cool. He plays the flute. And then he comes out with a flute album and y'all mad.
Like mad.
You knew what was coming.
I didn't get it. I was like, what is everybody so upset about? Because he dropped and said he didn't say what kind of album it was going to be. But
no, we knew it was a flute album.
Did we know?
He gave us, I mean, he gave us foreshadowing nuggets for the last 5 years, just like you said.
I mean, yeah, I would say, yeah, okay, of course a flute album, but I felt like legitimately people thought he was coming out with a rap album.
Yeah.
And I could understand you're disappointed that, your favorite rapper, one half of your favorite group is not giving you a new rap album, but he's giving you new music. It's something that he's very passionate about. And like, to me, watching an artist to express themselves creatively in a new and different way, that's amazing. We got some really cool shit. 808s and Heartbreak, which is arguably changed the face of music as we know it today, was Kanye doing something different.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I fuck with the album. Like, I do yoga and shit to it. I wake up in the morning, like when I need like fresh, like, okay, I need like new energy. Okay, I'm a like weird voodoo bitch, whatever. But I put the album on. Like, I'm like, damn. And proving, like, wasn't it like the #1 album for a week?
Was.
So it's like, obviously y'all niggas was curious about it. So I didn't get the whole anger thing. I was just like, okay, he let that man express himself. And the fact that he can like disappear off the face of the earth and not do things sparingly every now and again. And then just come out with something that he just fucking feels like, that's a fucking blessing.
Right.
In this industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm gonna support that. And yeah, I've kind of fucked with the album. I listened to it.
I haven't heard it.
I truly admire the fact that he just moves and just operates and moves how he feels like
he wants to.
Like, he's not pressured by outside forces. And even though he's like, I can't think of anything to rap about at my age. I mean, if that's how he feels, that's how he feels.
Mhm.
So I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, people were
Yeah.
pressed about that too, but he wasn't saying no rapper my age should. He's like,
Rap.
Andre,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't have nothing to say.
Right. And I was like, okay. I'm like if you go and listen to like the interviews and all of that he was giving, like, I'm like, damn, what he kind of explains it. Like, what the hell? Y'all need to get out. Just let the man do what he gonna do and listen to some other shit. Listen to his
Right.
old shit.
That's
Thank
why
you.
he don't. That's why he
Thank
don't
you.
do nothing. Because look at
Right.
how everybody acting.
Like, damn, listen to his old shit. It's still just as good.
I mean, they put out 6 albums in 12 years. That's enough material for you to fall back on right there.
And all
Yeah.
of his features.
Going,
That too.
yes. And support Big Boys. Big Boys still fucking raps.
Yep.
Really fucking good.
Yes. I played that Boomerverse album the other day. I love that album.
Okay. It's like he still fucking raps. Like, I know it's people have things tied to nostalgia. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's all, yeah, and that's cool, but damn, let that man live.
Also, like, I want people to learn that if you don't like something, you don't have to consume the content.
Right.
And this,
Bingo.
I don't know, when we made this jump to where people think that because they don't want something that it shouldn't exist. It's this whole thing whenever like a remake or whatever comes out and people are like, who asked for this? You know, you cannot watch
Go
it.
see it.
You don't
It's
have
that simple.
to watch it.
It's really that simple.
Like,
Calm down. It's so much other shit out here that you can watch. Like, it's like
bruh,
15,000 streaming services for free
bruh.
and for like things that you pay for. Like, you'll be okay.
100. I could not agree more. So now we're going to talk about another major thing that happened this year. The submersible fiasco
Oh God.
Ooh.
off of the coast of Massachusetts, when this group of 5 people were really pressed to see the Titanic, and it did not end well for them.
Rest in
And
peace.
I just remember watching the news, and they were reporting it, and it seemed like every day it was like, okay, this X amount of oxygen left in the submersible, and then it was just the oxygen levels the oxygen supply just slowly decreased as the days went on, and then come to find out, I mean,
They died
they got
instantly.
the Coke can treatment.
Yeah.
Oof.
Like,
Oof.
what was the whole point? That was just really morbid. Anyway, maybe they was trying to give people like a sense of hope that
Yeah.
they would find these people alive. But bro, it's the ocean.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Do we not understand like how big the ocean is? Stuff down there that we don't know nothing about.
Nothing.
Like,
And probably shouldn't know.
and
about.
shouldn't know. I'm good. Like, what is
the wild thing to me was how much resources we used to find these people. And then there was a parallel story about a boat with like 500 people on it, and that shit just sank and everybody died because they
Damn.
couldn't get out there to rescue them people. I forget where it was. I want to say it was off of somewhere down in like Central America. But it happened shortly thereafter. And they spent so much money going to finding people. It was wild because we were like, oh, they're about to run out of oxygen. There was a Twitter account made to show how much oxygen they had left before we knew that but early on, there was some scientist who was like, they're not alive. Like they probably got crushed to fucking smithereens almost instantly. And then James Cameron was talking his shit. He's like, I might have just the dude who made Titanic, but I've also done the most amount of dives in a submersible than any other civilian alive right now. And he's like, and I'm telling you, whatever it was catastrophic.
Damn.
And turns out that dude, and it turns out the dude had his like 19-year-old son, 16-year-old son on there. And the son had told a family member he didn't really want to go. And he was scared. And it was like a father-son bonding thing. And like, that's the part to me, because these billionaires throwing money around, acting stupid, dying. I'm like, People die every day, B. But the kid, he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
he
right.
didn't want to go. He was, and this supposed to be a bonding experience. Well, dude, how am I bond with you? And I'm fucking terrified. Like,
Right.
bro,
Right.
that was really some, that was some narcissistic type shit. Like,
Mhm.
It really, yeah, that's a good point. Great
Yeah.
point. So now I want to talk about something that happened in my neck of the woods that started off as just something that they covered on the 6 o'clock news every night, and then eventually snowballed into being the lead story on the national news. And now is Alec Murdaugh and his trial. So the Murdaughs, they're a very prominent family in I want to say it's in it's in Colleton County, which is about an hour from me. And I mean, it's basically just old money just passed down. And I think the whole family is full of a bunch of attorneys. And come to find out, he was convicted of murdering both his son and his wife. And I just remember how big of a deal that was down here. I mean, for the longest. And then he gets convicted. He's sentenced to life in prison. And then maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, he got convicted again for like financial fraud. And he got an additional 27 years on top.
He already in there for life. They gonna give him another 27.
Yeah, they gave him life with extra toppings.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like, you
Man.
in here, bro.
Oh well. As Bossa would say, oh well, young. And let's see. You know what? Let's lighten the mood a little bit. We talked about things that went on in the world in terms of current events and music. I'd like to for y'all to share like highlights of your 2023s personally. So Bridgette, I'll start with you.
Okay, I went to see Beyonce. That's like for real. Like this like the highlight of my year because I got to go. We had the last show, so I had to experience everybody else's experience.
Man.
So where did you see her?
Media. We went to see her in Kansas City.
Oh, nice.
October the 2nd, I think, was the last show.
But that was not the original date you were supposed to go?
No, the original date was September the 18th, and it got rescheduled. And now that I've saw the movie, I can understand why I got rescheduled. Because like shit is like so meticulous with the damn Renaissance concert. Like there's a set actually there the night of the show, and then she has 2 other sets going out. Like one is on the way to being set up, or it is being set up, and then another one is on the way. So
yes,
like,
I think she said it took like 3 days.
3 days
to put the setup. So there was 3 versions of it because she would be in one city for like 2-3 nights. And then by the time she got to the next city, they had already set up the set, and then they take down the one where she was and move it to the next city.
Yep.
Wow. I didn't realize it was such an elaborate process, man. That's goodness.
When you go and look at the movie, which I enjoyed, I loved, I wish they would have did a little bit more background information, but you find out like it's a whole fucking it's a lot. So but yeah, our show got rescheduled. It was the last show. It was amazing. Like I cried. So yeah, that's enough. Unless we want to keep talking about Beyonce, well, I can do that all day.
You know what? Actually, NicJu, you can if you would
Yes.
share your Beyonce experience.
Yeah. So we went to the Rained Out show the second night in DC. So we got a truncated version of the concert because a lot of the dancing and stuff takes place kind of down on the roundabout part of the stage, and it poured rain for the entire night leading up to the concert and throughout the entire concert. It was outside in the Commanders Stadium. I had a great time, but I know that some other people feel like we didn't get, the same show as everyone else because Blue came out, but she didn't do the whole part with the tank and all that. Like the baby came, did the little 5, 6, 7, 8, and they brought her right back off, which I totally understand. I was just happy because if I was performing that night with all that tech and lights and whatever, I would not have done the show. Y'all would have had to take y'all ass home because it was fully raining, fully raining. But Mama just slapped on her wet and wavy wig, and she
worked it out.
It was a religious experience. That scene, the part where she does Alien Superstar with those green lights like shooting everywhere in the pouring rain was otherworldly. It was insane how beautiful some of that was. I really enjoyed myself. I had tried to not look at too much footage ahead of time. I would look at all the mute challenges and I would look at all of Blue's performances and then obviously the looks that she posted on Instagram, but I wasn't watching any concert footage. So my time seeing it was my first time seeing it.
Was that the same concert where everybody was basically like in the lobby singing melodies from heaven?
Maybe, but because I know that I have a lot of PTSD around this because we almost got trampled several times. We were a near miss away from an epic tragedy because the people who were already inside, they made everybody go in the concourse. So maybe that's where that video came from because everybody was just like stuck inside the concourse, and everybody who hadn't gone in yet, we were just stuck outside. And when they did try to start letting people in, it was so haphazard. They had the poor girl who worked there like just up against the gates, and they didn't even open the gate. They were like having people squeeze through it, and there was just a line of police officers on the other side of the gate just standing there yelling at people, not being helpful whatsoever. It was very near. A lot of people could have gotten seriously injured or killed, and I will never go back to the Commanders Stadium ever again. It's old and dilapidated and in dire need of some upgrades for safety and other reasons.
All right.
Terrible. The concert was great.
So speaking of the concert, the mute challenge was a huge deal on the Twitter timeline, and I got a kick out of seeing the amount of Beyonce fans really either cheering them on, hitting them with hitting them on with the yes, like y'all better do it. And then whenever they do the mute challenge and
shut your asses,
kind of like what Bridgette had to deal with at the Kansas City stop on her tour. And I remember seeing it in her IG stories when she was like, everybody on mute, and somebody made a noise, and the look on your face, this bitch look that you had on your face. I remember watching that at work, and I stopped everything I was doing, and like I was legitimately in tears.
I hope that lady forever loses like 1/2 of her socks all the time. All the time.
I hope she steps on a Lego every Sunday.
I hope she gets a fucking nail in her damn tire like for the rest of her fucking days. I was so mad. I was so mad because she really did that shit on purpose. And I think that's, people just get a kick out of like just being assholes. And that's exactly what she was, because she did that shit on purpose. She knew all the fucking words, every fucking song. She knew all the fucking words, so she knew that on mute you need to shut your ass up.
The lady says, "Look around, everybody on mute.
Shut up."
And the problem was, people were quiet and then they would get excited and start congratulating themselves for being quiet and then start making noise. So I think about midway through the tour, I figured it out, because I was like, these motherfuckers did not win the challenge, in my opinion. But depending on where the person was taking the video from, so
Yes.
clearly Beyonce could not hear the people up in the back. So if everybody in Club Renaissance on the floor and stuff was quiet, she was like, y'all won, y'all got that.
Right.
But there were many of those cities where there were people cutting up in the far away, but she just couldn't hear them. I also think that everybody said Atlanta, like night 2 won. Boston won the mute challenge. I've done the research. Boston won the mute challenge, y'all. There were others who came very close. Charlotte, I think Charlotte night 2, no, they were no slouch. But the girls in Boston understood the assignment.
Well, I heard New Orleans won.
They did well too. So Beyonce told us we won, but I think that was just a consolation prize because we had got rained on the entire night. And then she told Charlotte they won, and then she told Atlanta they won, and then she told New Orleans they won. New Orleans was quiet. Night 1, they did their big one, but no, the girls in Boston understood the assignment.
God damn.
Now, I've seen it from several angles. And the Boston girls, they took it.
I'm trying to understand. How did you do this research? Like, did you do this?
Girl, I'm a TikTok auntie. And the thing about TikTok is if you watch a video in its entirety, TikTok algorithm is like, oh, this your shit. And so they only show you that for the next couple of days. So if you have like curiosity about something, don't fight the feeling, because your whole time I got involved in all that mess on there a couple of years ago with the dude who was like accused of sexually assaulted. It was just a lot. And I'm like, please, how do I help me get out of it? I don't want to know no more. Jesus, like,
that's how I feel about Blueface and Krishan. Like, oh my God, I should
take me out the group chat.
I should know this much information about these young people. Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's how and so then somebody put together a supercut of every single mute challenge, and I watched it like 4 times. I'm like, Boston, these girls, they did what needed to be done.
Shout out to Boston. This my first time hearing about Boston. It's been Atlanta, New Orleans. I heard Charlotte a couple of times, but that was about it. I know we didn't win the goddamn.
I think it was Atlanta night 2 when she was like, y'all won, like for the first time. But the Boston girls, they made it happen.
Boston. See, NicJu showing love.
For once in my life, I'm gonna give
Boston.
Sure. Listen, outside of New Edition, you get nothing from me.
I was gonna say Dart Adams. Dart Adams, shout out to you. You're from Boston.
Oh, I didn't know he was from Boston.
Shout out to Dart Adams. So any other exciting and notable things happen for y'all personally this year?
Yeah, I took my annual trip to the US Open. Charmaine came for the first time. That was pretty dope. Nice. That's in September. My niece graduated from Temple in May. A huge accomplishment. The entire family went out there to see her off. I thought, that was like a huge highlight of the year. I not only attended my first Pride event, I like walked in the DC Pride Parade this year.
That's what's up.
Incredible with my job. It was incredible. And yeah, just I saw a little bit more baseball than I have in recent years. I took score a couple more times in person this year. And then kind of a full circle theater moment for me. I was supposed to see Jagged Little Pill on Broadway in March of 2020. And that was part of our trip that got canceled due to COVID. And so they came to the National Theater in DC, and I finally got to see Jagged Little Pill. It was incredible. And then I went to St. Louis to visit my podcast partner, Reggie. Yeah, my first time in the loop. It was I went to Kansas City and St. Louis So I got me some barbecue. Obviously, it was smacking, just like they say.
Which barbecue spot did you go to?
In Kansas City, I'm trying to think of the name of it, but it was somewhere downtown, kind of a huge spot. It wasn't one of those like, diners, drive-ins, dives places, but it was supposedly a really good spot. And then we kind of drove by the popping spot in St. Louis, but the line was like
Too
doing the
long.
dummy. Yeah, so we didn't go.
Yes, Kansas City barbecue. See, I said this on my podcast. Y'all might have us a touch, a little bit.
That's big.
Like Kansas
I
City
loved
barbecue
it.
is fucking great.
I
Yeah,
loved
I
it.
love their
I don't
barbecue.
like smoked meat, and a lot of famous barbecue cities are famous for their smoked meats, and it's not really my jam. But this was like pit barbecue. I'm like, yes,
Oh yeah,
this is what I want.
yeah, it was good. It was really, really good. I forgot the name of the place we went to, but they had the jalapeno cornbread. Oh,
Come on.
damn, that was so fire with the butter. Oh my god, it was
Come
delicious.
on.
All right, I gotta figure out where this is because I'm putting that one back on my list because I love Kansas City. Like one of my best friends from high
Yes.
school lives out there, and I used to go there like every year to see him. So I gotta pick that back up. But yeah, shout out to Gates Barbecue and Oklahoma Joe's. Those I love those places, man. And Go Chicken Go too. Shout out to them.
See, I should have hit you up before I went out there, but
Yeah,
it was great.
I get
Kansas City is like one of the nicest places ever.
yeah, I love Kansas City. You know what? I'm gonna pop my shit for a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay,
do it.
pop your
Do
shit.
I'm gonna
it.
be honest. 2023 is one of the best years I've had in an extremely long time.
Come on,
Like
somebody.
podcast aside, again, if you listen to the pod, you know that I'm a stickler for meeting your internet friends in real life, and I met quite a few internet friends in real life. God, like starting in January, I met up with Jessica Dawn, who's she's Charmaine's friend. She happened to be in Charlotte for work that week, and I had January 2nd off, just in observance for New Year's. So I met her up in Charlotte and we hung out and I got to do a 30-second snack review with her, man. It was super cool. And then speaking of Charlotte, I got to meet Rod and Karen for the first time at the Black Guy Who Tips live show. And on top of meeting them, I got to meet Leonard Brothers. I got to meet Jack Eclectic. I got to meet my man Young Dro, who brought me an Adolis Garcia bobblehead doll that I have currently sitting in here. Then I went to the Maiden Durham Festival to see Little Brother perform because they're one of my favorite rap groups, and that was always on my bucket list of things to do. And I met more internet friends in real life. No, I met my man Antoine Hardy, aka Slang Dini, who I just had on At the Plate and released that episode today.
Oh, you met Antoine? Where y'all met?
Hmm?
Where'd you meet him?
At the Maiden Durham Festival.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he pulled up. He just hit me up because he saw that I was going to be out there. He's like, I'm going to be out there too. I'm like, shit, let's link up. And
Oh, that's dope.
we linked up. And God, who else did I meet this year? Brian from the Sins and the Dan Martino emails from the Firestarter podcast. I got to meet him at the Maiden Durham Festival. And my homie Jay Braze, who I also had on the podcast, he's the Cincinnati Reds fan. I met him previously. Met him previously in Chapel Hill, like a few months prior, but getting to see him again, it was always great. And then I got to see Rod and Karen again about 3 Saturdays ago. I ran into them at the Hornets game, and we got to chop it up at the half. Man, that was
nice.
super cool. So my intention for next year is to meet more internet friends in real life, and eventually I got to make my way out west and do that leg of the tour, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you met D1, didn't it?
I did meet D1. I met him at the Maiden Durham Festival too.
Yeah, because you just released a podcast with him, and I've been listening to that too.
Yeah. And shit. Oh, and got to see the LL when he did his tour with the Roots. They didn't stop in Charlotte. Matter of fact, it was the same day as the Black Guy Who Tips live show, and getting to see him and Rakim performed and Juvenile and De La Soul. I mean, it was like 3 straight hours. It was well worth the
Oh
trip.
wow.
Yeah. And shit, sports. I had 3 teams win titles. I mean, the local team, the Charleston River Dogs, they had a 3-peat. Then the Rangers won their first title in like 62 years of existence. And then the Aces went back to back. So it's been a pretty damn good year for your boy. And I'm
that's dope.
Yeah. I'm looking to carry that momentum into the next year. Also, I would be remiss if we didn't talk about this other guy that is shaking up the internet, and we talked about him, in pre-production, but I forgot to bring him up. Keith Lee. Let's talk about it.
Okay, here's the thing. Yeah, go ahead, Bridgette.
So I had never heard of Keith Lee up until this point. I had never heard of the guy. I had never been privy to him up until like the whole shit popped off in Atlanta. And I was like, okay, let me, watch his video. And immediately I knew what he was about. And people just got all upset. And I'm like, damn, like, why?
Right. Right.
I've eaten in Atlanta before. He ate at Atlanta, what is it, Breakfast Company? I've actually eaten there before. And yes,
Old Lady Gang,
and then I forgot the other one that was based out of DC, and then the whole shit popped off when they had to change the name or whatever. What's the name of that place? I can't remember.
I know what you're talking about. Those 2 similarly named companies,
places.
like the Breakfast Club and Breakfast Club, something like that.
Right. Yeah. It's like one name off. But yeah, I've eaten at one of those places, and yeah, it is a crazy long wait. It's a crazy long wait. And one month I've eaten there twice. The first time it was really, really good. The second time it was okay. So it wasn't really worth that long wait. But Keith Lee explained why he does it. Like, he wants to bring the only reason why he did it in Atlanta, because they told him to eat at that place. I guess those places, he, I guess somebody wanted to shade them. I don't know, but his main motive is to highlight like Black businesses that don't really get the shine that they deserve.
Right.
I got that immediately. So like, this whole, like, everybody doing this whole projection thing, like, this is so crazy to me. And for him to make the New York Times,
girl,
blows my mind.
So again, I'm a TikTok auntie. The funny thing about being on TikTok, I was very resistant at first. My coworker would just send me talks, and I would just be like, I don't want to play. I don't want to be on here. And then my other friend was trying to get me on it. I'm like, I just don't want. And then finally I'm on it. So you know how on Twitter, they will make fun of Instagram and Facebook, like, oh, this going to blow up on Facebook in a couple of weeks. That's Twitter now, because people will bring stuff to Twitter from TikTok that I saw months ago. And for whatever reason, it blew up on Twitter. I'm like, y'all just now finding out about this? Like, it's wild that TikTok is so far ahead of Twitter. So I've been knew who Keith Lee was. And it's funny because he's always been kind of polarizing to people, because people are saying so many different things about him. Like, he's fake nice. He's doing too much because he's a Christian. And people always are going to find a reason to not like somebody, especially somebody who's doing a good. It's same thing with Tabitha Brown. As soon as she started blowing up, people started calling her a slave and like talking about she got that Aunt Jemima voice. I'm like, why y'all can't leave this lady alone? Tabitha ain't never done nothing to nobody. And there was a similar thing with Keith Lee. So then when the Atlanta thing happened, I think it blew up because there's a fake prestige to standing in line at a place like that. And he's trying to bust the system open. It's just like all the labor strikes that have happened in the country. Somebody's telling you that there's a better way. It don't have to be like this. And people feel like any type of disruption of the status quo is instantly an attack.
Right.
Because I think you can be busy, but manage your shit better. Nobody should be waiting an hour to be sat.
Right. Shit. And hell, at ABC, it's more than an hour sometimes.
That's crazy.
It's like it was an hour or two. And we went and walked around and all this other shit. I think we eventually got sat down. And I think the second time I went, it wasn't as bad. But yeah, man, if you don't know nobody,
especially if the food,
people.
Yeah, especially if the food is not that good, like that's inexcusable.
Yeah, it was just okay for me the second time, but yeah, I mean, I'm not a big savory French toast. I don't. That nigga, give me regular, give me these eggs and this regular ass bacon.
Like,
and I fuck with these fried green tomatoes. I got that. You know what I'm saying? The girl was trying to get me to get something different. I was like, nah, girl, I'm too hungry. First of all, to fuck around. You give me some shit, I don't like it, I'm gonna be mad, and then you gotta, bring something else out. I'm too hungry. I know what the fuck I want. This is what I want. Bring it out. You know what I'm saying? It was great. It was good. Everybody enjoyed their food. But the second time, me and the hubby was like, He was looking at me crazy. Like, you recommended this place and it wasn't all of that. So yeah, man, Keith Lee, that's a trip. That really blew the shit open.
And then Ocho Cinco go open his mouth talking about he's destroying Black businesses. And listen, I don't do Shannon Sharp, I don't do Ocho Cinco. The two of them together, it is nothing good in my opinion. And thankfully one of his daughters snatched him up and was like, no, what you're not gonna do is badmouth Keith Lee, because what he does, in my opinion, is a good thing. He gets people reach out to him who are either themselves struggling to keep their business open, or other people who know them, who know the food is good, are like, please come and do what you do. And he has business. Joel's friend who had that puttery spot in Houston, where she told Keith that someday she would have 2 customers for the entire day, ended up having a line around the corner for days at a time because of him. And then he'll like tip people like $10,000 cash.
So I fuck with Keith Lee.
Same.
I don't get it. Like, you can't help it. That's how I get down in that, that city, and it expose y'all ass. Y'all'll be all right. People still gonna want to go there. And they ain't gonna stop nothing.
Man, so shout out to Keith Lee. He's doing the Lord's work out here. Podcast discoveries this year. I'm curious as to what new podcast that y'all discovered that you feel the people need to know about.
I don't typically do mainstream podcasts, and no shade to anyone. I do mostly only listen to people of color, and typically women of color. I had recently added Smartless, which I really enjoy. That's Will Arnett, Sean Hayes, and Jason Bateman, but that was last year. So this year, I saw a bunch of clips on Twitter of the 2 white ladies from Oklahoma who like just talk about shit that they hate, and I realized that it was a podcast called I've Had It, and
it's on my list.
Obsessed.
That's on my list.
I've Had It. I'm obsessed with Pumps and Angie, Pumps and Jen, Princess Diana. What she calls her like 6 different names. Great show, great guests. And then in the same vein, on TikTok, I saw clips of two Black British women doing a little show in their closet. It's called Closet Confessions, with Sorrel and Candice Braithwaite. Great show. Great. They are just like cackling, two homegirls on the phone. And what they do is like a listener will write in with a confession and they'll read it and give them advice. And sometimes the shows are super short, like 20 minutes, but then sometimes they'll get into kind of a longer show. But they're just, they sound like your homegirl with a British accent, basically.
Okay.
They're on YouTube too. You could watch both of those shows, you can watch as well.
I was just gonna ask because I'm now getting into like YouTube podcasts.
Yeah.
But traditional. Damn, that's crazy. You gotta say traditional podcast.
Right.
Dryptomaniacs. That's been really good. The one with Karen, maybe I'm partial, but the one with Karen is the fucking best.
I haven't got there yet. I need to catch it.
Oh my God.
Finish it.
With Ida B. Wells.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you are just, I don't know, it's a different way to listen to Black history. Like it's with a comedy spin, but it's very true. But yeah, it's good. And shout out to Rod and Karen. Rod from The Black Guy Who Tips writes for that. And illuminating intersectionality with Hey Friend Hey, Dr. Kia, and Chef Jade. They do like, it's like a series that they do. Like the first one was like how Blacks internet, the whole, like they did one with like Southern Black people, people from the Caribbean, like they did that one. And then this one, the second one, is about HBCUs, and they talk about that. That's really good. So those are two main ones that I can think of right off that I'm listening to this year.
Okay. I would have to also recommend the I've Had a podcast, and I don't even remember how I found them. It might have been through you, Nick, but I'm glad that I took the time to listen to them because they are extremely entertaining. Then I would say R&B Money. I love that podcast.
Oh yes, I don't know
I forgot about that one.
It's hosted by Tank and Jay Valentine. I tanked the shit out of that. But hosted by Tank and Jay Valentine, and they just have like people in the R&B world on, and they just talk about their careers. Like they had some of my favorite episodes. They had Casey Haley on. They had
they had K Michelle.
Yeah.
They had recently Tank interviewed Jay Valentine. I haven't watched that one. They did Johnny Gill.
That one was really good.
They've done what's the girl named Carrie Hilson, which she got into some hot water with what's the name of that girl from Love and Hip Hop? It don't matter. That's a good one. Damn, they've done so many, but it's good. It's on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. If you like long form type, like listening to like how people got started in their music careers, it's kind of like Q Willis, but funner. It's a little more fun. I didn't realize Tank had as much personality as he has.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. I sat there and watched like a bunch of their podcasts one weekend. It's good.
Yeah, the Whispers one is really good too. I just finished watching that one. And I think the latest one, they had two of the dudes from Commissioned. That was really good. So yeah, this has been the year 2023. And again, thank you to Nick and Bridgette. Anything y'all want to plug or promote?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me. You've had such a great year, consistently podcasting, some wonderful guests and great topics. I wish nothing but the best for you going forward next year.
Thank
And
you.
just
Likewise.
quickly to thank you. Quickly, just to plug, obviously, What's the Tea monthly podcast I do with Reggie. But also, if you're a fan of the Great British Bake Off, I do a review show of that with my homeboys from Cleveland from the Stays Crunchy and Milk podcast. That's Crunchy with a K. And our show is called Creme Patissier with a K. And we've just recently done the Great American Baking Show holiday celebrity episode. That'll come out probably this week.
All right,
Word
word.
up. Bridget, how about you?
So I have a podcast with my friends. Danny made a joke. It's like 12 of us, but it's really 3. Other folks, they come in now and again, but we try to do it bi-weekly. We're gonna try to do one more before the end of the year, but it's called All In with Ace. And we're on all platforms except Apple.
And that's All In with ASE.
Yes, ASE. Thank you.
Oh, and once again, thank y'all for being on. And listeners, thank you for listening. Thank you for riding. Just thank you for rocking with me for this whole year. You know what? We got to clap for ourselves one time because, damn it, we made it through 2023.
Man. As you said,
You know,
amen.
I don't know what everybody's been going through, and I know people have been going through shit, but you know what? You made it to the other side, and we made it to see another year through. So I'm super proud of y'all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Make sure you like, make sure you download, make sure you tell a friend about both Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth podcast and also At the Plate with Danny Foxworth. It's hard to believe. I started this in January of this year, scared to death, and this is the 87th episode that I've done with both shows combined. And I got to be honest, I'm super proud of myself for that. But I could not have done that without y'all, the listeners, and also the guests, because these guests, these are people that I'm legitimately interested in what they have to talk about, and they just add that extra seasoning to the conversation. And for that, I am eternally grateful. And keep it locked for 2024 because we're going to keep this train rolling. And again, thank y'all so much for just being just diligent listeners. Y'all don't know how much that just touches my soul. So for Bridget, Nick, and myself, this has been the end of the year episode for Since We Last Spoken. Until next time, y'all be good. Peace.
Happy New